Hey, this is Colonial, and I'm here for my last of what is going to be a three-part series with this Scalaria Blue Dragon. Um, Basically, I think I'm gonna rename it Blue Dragon Devours Independent AI because I'm doing so well that it's not gonna really be worth keeping it up. Um, oh wow, we had a three-way bump here. Wonder if I win that. Yeah, what I'm gonna do this episode is talk to you a bit about my mid and late game strategies because you're not gonna actually be seeing them in this LP. So that is you'll just hear about them. That'll be alright. I might revisit Scalaria at a later date. Probably I'll try with a rainbow, not with the. Not didn't lose a one. Not with the dragon, because the dragon's a bit overpowered against the AI. It would appear. Um, this is where we all bumped. Okay, look at this. I still have a huge expansion potential over here. Alright, so anyway, let's take a look at my research. Okay, so you guys know that I wanted to do enchantment, thaumaturgy, conjuration, evocation early on. You know why I want to do that. My next step is going to be, with a bit of hesitation, I think, enchantment 4, then thaumaturgy 5, then construction 6. Now, the reason why I say some hesitation is this is not very strong battle magic research. This is mainly lab utility research, and it would be nice to get some battle magic going. In particular, the one thing I'm missing out on early on is Stellar Cascades. To get Stellar Cascades, I'm also going to need Light of the Northern Star, so that's Conjuration 4, Evocation 5. But I'm not going to do that until after I get Construction 4. Construction 6, rather. Construction 6 is, of course, for the Skull Mentor. And the Skull Mentor is going to turn my research graph around a little bit. At least get me pulling in as much research as my rivals per turn, even if I'm not still quite a ways below them on the research graphs. Our lines will be parallel, but mine will be below theirs. Yeah, so my first level 6 is definitely going to be construction, but I think I'm going to go for it pretty early. Basically, enchantment and thaumaturgy are going to be there, so they have something to do with the gems I'm earning from conjuration evocation. Thaumaturgy, level 5. Of course, we're getting Telestic Animation. Telestic Animates are really good for Scalaria because everyone gives me a long dead horse every turn forever. They take no upkeep, and they only cost apparently 5 pearls. So you can pump out a bunch of them, start, and that'll give you like stronger chaff armies. Basically, you're still going to want a lot of the normal long deads, but you can have some horse, hit him first maybe, do a bit of a number on his line before the normal long deads come in to exhaust the next rank of troops, more or less. Celestic Animates are big deal. It also gets me Teleport Gateway, kind of handy. Vengeance of the Dead is situational, but can come in handy. Teleport's nice. Gateway is much later game than I'm going to be using it. You're going to need a Starshine Skullcap to use it at all. But yeah, in construction gets you Starshine Skullcap as a bonus. It gets you a few other nice little things. The main problem there is that you're going to want. Alright, I'll first talk about enchantment. In enchantment, you get three things. You get Twiceborn, you get Create Revenant, and you get Anti-Magic. And those are. Anti-Magic is the only one in this next bunch of research that's actually battlefield worthy. Anti-Magic is very nice because basically as soon as someone knows they're going to be fighting you, they're going to turn on the banishment spam, and as soon as they turn on the banishment spam, you're going to want to turn on the anti-magic to counter it. Also, the two death things, that gives you a bit of something to do with your death gems after you're done site searching, but before your skull mentors come online. You're going to want to save up like 100 or more death gems for the skull mentors, but it's worth grabbing 2 or 3 revenants. It's worth doing a bit of twice born, so maybe burn 50 gems in that and then start saving them up. The revenants, they sound kind of useless because you already have the death one, Astra one, Thaumaturgs, but having a level 1 mage instead of a level 2 mage means that you can start doing your death stuff like summoning kings and dark knowledge if you still have to, without bothering a level 2 mage with it. So that's kind of nice, a bit of efficiency. Also, it's good to have a few more mages kicking them out. So the revenants are not super duper good, but they're a good sink for your death gems at this stage. The Twiceborns are a tricky. Twiceborn is all around tricky, but in the late game you're going to want some undead mages, thaumaturgs, and grand thaumaturgs. Um, Everyone costs 10 gems, and they have to be in your dominion. So it's kind of a toss-up if you actually put a Twiceborn with a living Twiceborn mage with your armies. What I was thinking, but I haven't played it out, and I'm not going to be able to this game, is if you happen to find a site that kills people, a disease site, Twiceborn your mage, get him diseased, have him hang out in your dominion, and you'll have an undead mage. Now, in terms of the undead mages, you're gonna, as soon as you get Twiceborn, you can do it with 2 grands. So you're gonna want to do it 2 grands. In particular, air and randoms are gonna be at a premium to turn undead for the late game. Um, Eventually, you're gonna want to do your thaumaturgs as well, but you're gonna need a skull staff to do that, which you're gonna be getting pretty soon. Um, and yeah, you're gonna want to basically constantly be killing your mages, turning them undead slowly. And alright, so as I said before, the problem with going this route is that after Thaumaturgy 1, you have basically no battle magic coming out with the exception of anti-magic there. I think Enchantment 4 early on is a good call. You might want to try and get Stellar Cascades online before you get the Skull Mentors. But the problem with that is that Stellar Cascades takes a lot of mages with your army. It's very powerful, but you're going to need a lot of thaumaturgs running around with the army. And I would prefer to have the thaumaturgs researching until I get the Skull Mentors. If you're having trouble, by all means change to Stellar Cascades. And once you get Construction 4, Stellar Cascades is the next thing. After Construction 4, you have a lot more options, or after Stellar Cascades, let's say. You have Alteration, 6, you have Evocation, 6, 7, and 8, Construction 6, but you should have quite a bit better research, so you should start hitting these things pretty easily. And pretty much after you get the Skull Mentors, it's going to be all battle magic. Conjuration 6 is the exception, but for the most part, it's going to become much more about battle magic. And your battle magic can become pretty terrifying. Your late game battle magic is going to be the evocation stuff. Wailing Winds, Winds of Death are both going to be super powerful. They're basically things that kill all living people. So the enemy's army gets trounced, your army is fine, and that's why you're going to need the undead mages. Because some of this Winds of Death in particular, requires, it'll kill any mage that isn't undead. And it'll be quite hard to get up to the Death 4. You might need a few Communion Slaves that are dead. One option is Revenants with Slave Matrixes, and if you get, once you have a Spectre, that is a possibility. But the other option is give a guy a Skull Staff and 2 Slaves, and he can cast Winds of Death. And that means Twiceborn a few of your regular thaumaturgs. Okay, so that is basically my technology plan for the later game, which a lot of people were asking about. Now let's play this turn. You are going there. I'm gonna fire out. I said my aim this game is to get an army on the table. 20. I don't have the troops for it yet. Alright, you guys are gonna stay. I'm gonna keep Bloody Well expanding, because why not? Bam. Let's try that. I bet I'll win. And it's no longer super important. Because this is my last game. My last thing. One problem with the cold scales is that your lizards are not battle worthy if you wind up getting lizards, which is too bad, but it's fine. They can research, they can do nature stuff. One thing actually, now that I think of it, is that it would be nice to start site searching nature with these guys. And it's nice to get them behind walls whenever you can. Right. Yeah, I realized last time that I was a bit late in starting the humans. Good to grab humans. Why not have a few people around? So yeah, that's more or less my strategy. I have a forum post about this over on the forums, and people were saying that I'm not being terribly optimal in my initial run, but that's because I'm not playing multiplayer. I'm just kind of playing it. This is my first time ever on YouTube, so it's a bit yeah, suboptimal. I might try and start out optimally because that way, if you're a newer player, you can actually imitate my moves for a multiplayer game. So my next one, I might try and make an optimal start. This time, I wasn't really thinking about it. I was just trying to show you this stuff. All right. Wait. Research. Yep. All right. I will pause it here, do my little bits, and I'll come back to you next turn. All right. So, my research is beginning to get a bit faster. I'm going to have evocation soon. I might have it next turn if I can squeeze a bit more research points out of the situation. Sorry. I need to remember to keep this mic near my mouth. Yeah, so basically my schedule is going to be that this is my last of this little series. Next time I'll probably try something else. I might try Scalaria again. I might try something that will be a surprise for you. But it's going to come out in 3 weeks. I leave on Friday for 2 weeks, and then I'll only probably get back together in 3 weeks' time, so you can look forward to that. Um, and yeah, that time I will give myself a few handicaps or whatever. I might try and make it so that I'm fighting AIs who are allied together. I don't think I'll do a multiplayer just then, but a multiplayer is definitely on the cards for the future. Um, yeah, more or less. Um, so that will be what I do. And I might try and keep these up. I might do a few. We'll see how my life plays out, how my time is looking in the future. Maybe I'll try and start recording my more interesting games. I think now that I know how to cut the things together, it'll be much easier to record a multiplayer. So that's pretty good. What's my army looking like? 44. Yeah, I should be able to get enough of these guys together. Oh, oops. Oh, wow. Look at that. Do I have another? Oh, I don't have a... I need a king. There's a king. There's a few humans. Always good. The humans in the early game are definitely going to be the core of the army. Um, yeah, I'll try, as I said, to show you an army composition this game, but it's going to have a solid core. In the beginning, that's going to be humans. Once I start getting out things that kill all living things, I'm, of course, going to have to change out away from humans. And I mean, there's always still the Vestals. The Vestals are going to be there the entire game, but I think I'm going to replace the humans with Ghouls. Now, Ghouls, I said before that twice spawning is tricky. Ghouls are also a very tricky thing for this nation. Requires a bit of finesse. Basically, the thing with ghouls is you can summon a batch of ghouls. You grab a bunch of these guys, let's say 6 will do, and you send them off to a province where it's a low population. This province has 600 people. That might be a bit too low. And you kill all the population, turn them into ghouls. And then you have some army, and then you also have an empty place. Like if I were being invaded from the south, having Iron Peaks here have 0 population would be quite nice, because if I could get the army to stay in Iron Peaks for 2 turns, they would starve. And so, for example, they're moving up, they land in Iron Peaks, so like, oh crap, there's no people here. And then I attack them in Iron Peaks, and I basically send armies that way, let's say. And then hopefully they try and go that way. They bounce into my army, they get stuck in Iron Peaks, and then they've starved. So that's what you're trying to do with the ghouls. And like I said, it can be pretty tricky to find the right province. Another option is to put 2 provinces next to each other, which are starved. and like on the way to your capital or something. And so the ghouls, you're kind of going to need the ghouls late game, and it is very tricky to work out the ghouls properly to try and get the starvation on the enemy's army through emptying your provinces of population through summoning ghouls. So this is not necessarily an easy nation to play. I wish I could show you myself having a go at working the ghouls and at working the twiceborn, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Like I said, I will probably revisit Scalaria at a later date, and then I will try and show you things like ghouls and twiceborns. Research. Look at that. I am 3 research points away from getting it this turn. I'm sure this. Oh yeah, this little guy can research. Bam, we've got it. All right, so that I'll get evocation this turn. Oh, but since I have conjuration, may as well, use it. Shift M. Oh, this is gonna. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh well. Maybe I'll just cast 1 Dark Knowledge this turn. Will that be enough? No, it won't. Oh well, you get the idea. Um, yeah. Well, another good thing about the huge expansion is you get quite a few thrones. Let's see what thrones I've got. Oh, I haven't gotten any of them yet, so I can't see. I've got Sterility, Magic Resistance, pretty nice one. Oh yeah, I have 2 fire thrones. What is my latest throne? It is... Okay. Yeah, let's end the turn. Or well, not end the turn, but end the recording, and then I will do my bits. Alright, so I think I'll do just probably 2 or 3 more turns pretty quickly just so I can get that army out, and then I'll be done with it. This is the first magic site that we've actually found. So one thing that we're not rocking out on in this build is site searching. A painted cave. But we've got 1 dark knowledge. Nope. Okay, so yeah, one problem with this is the low site searching. Astral. Much better than nature. Yeah. So now, let's see. The kings, of course, have 2 uses. They're your ferrymen, and they're also in charge of leading the Vestals. On these, you have 2 options for carrying undead. You've got the kings, who can carry 80 at bonus 0, and you've got your mages, who can carry either 105, I believe, or 60, but at negative 1. And so your long deads don't care about morale. They have 50 morale. So you like to give your long deads to the mages, and then give your Vestals, who do care about morale, to the kings. A nice thing about kings is they can also carry humans. So in fact, in this instance, what I'm going to do is that. Kings have 2 things before they start getting morale penalties. So that's pretty optimal. Pack of humans, pack of Vestals for a king, and then I'll give them to a Thaumaturg. And then if I have enough people here, do I? Let's see. Yeah, that's good enough for now, actually. Let's, this king can grab a few more. Alright, and next turn I have an army, and then I'll be done. Not a long episode, but we don't need a long episode. I told you what I mainly wanted to. Yeah, maybe I should write a wee guide to go along with this, or else I probably won't. The problem with, I've tried to write guides several times, but I'm much too verbose. I take pages and pages to say what should be said in a page. So this is a better way for me to describe a strat that I'm enjoying. But I might go for guides later on. We'll see how it plays out. Yeah. So these horse, of course, the problem with the long dead horse is that they're glass cannons. They die like crazy, but they kill like crazy. Quite different from these other normal undead who don't do a lick of damage, but when you have enough of them that they survive. So they're good balance. Often, if you have a little battle, keep the horses on guard commander, save them for a big fight. I guess. Yeah, I won't play out the rest of the turn for you because it's probably not going to be terribly interesting. Just keep going to show you this expansion possibility because it's crazy. Alright, so with those 3 provinces, I will have maxed out my expansion. Let's just see how many provinces I have. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 36, and 3 more makes 39. 39 provinces, guys, and this is a crowded map. So, dragons devour everything. See you in a sec. Alright, so of course I haven't been playing super optimally, but we're finally starting to get site searching online. We find a nature site, find an astral site. Oh, look! Oh my God! Look at this! It's a bonanza. That's 4 sites, 5 sites. Okay, let's have a bit of fun checking out our sites. Oh wow! Look at that. Okay, yeah, I'm getting way too lucky in this game. I find that often in games I get super lucky for no reason, and then in real life I never get lucky. It's terrible. But yeah, look at this. I had problems with research. Now I have sages and lore masters. Oh my God, lore masters are amazing. You will not probably be getting this lucky because, you know, it's unlikely. Where was it? 2 new sites, Jesus Christ. Oh wow. 2 death, water and a nature, and a fire, all from the same province. Yeah, okay, so this is a small army. That's about the size you're going to be looking at for your first army. Grand. Okay, when you're choosing which ones of these guys to go for, you're probably going to have more of them than you're ever going to need. Right now, I might not have more of them than I'm ever going to need, but later on in the game, you definitely will. You want to go, if you look at it closely, there's slightly darker colored ones and slightly lighter colored ones. The darker colored ones are wearing leather armor, they're the better troops. So always go for the darker colored ones first, I guess, and then if you run out of darker colored ones, switch to lighter colored ones. Of course, the best are the ones with the shields, but they're pretty rare. So the ones with little white dots are actually the best. Oh, whack in some lighter colored ones. White dots, then dark, then light. Brown, then gray, I should say. We still have more troops than we know what to do with. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't bring my long dead horse. I somehow messed that up. Oh well. Alright, so this is your army. You've got him. You've got those 4 guys. And of course, it might be nice to add some long dead horse. Let's do that. Why not? Alright, I'll play out one more turn, because then I can show you the glistening, shining army. But I will just end my recording now. See you in a sec. Alright, bunch more site searching. The dragon, he's done expanding, he switches to site searching. And he's going to fly around, use his super wings to grab the places with likely sites like deserts, forests, swamps first, then go on to the lesser likelihood places. 1. 1. Last time I got 5, I think. 1 is much more, like, that many site searching spells. 1 is very reasonable to expect. What did I get? I got an unfound door. 1 astral pearl. Pretty nice. Of course, your bloodlines are the astral and the death, so that's what you're really hoping for. Alright, so here we have a little army. And yeah, this thing can do pretty good for itself. I'll leave the horse. Alright, set the horse to guard commander because they're only needed for a big fight. And yeah, you get one big block. If you're going with enough mage support to get a tiny communion going, you're gonna have 3 blocks, and then you're gonna have your core. So, something along these lines. Figured it would be good to show you my battle outlay. It's, you know, not necessarily optimal or whatever, but it gets the job done. This guy's no orders, that guy's no orders, and these guys, we're gonna do this. Boom. And he has just enough slots to drop Power of the Sepulchre, then drop you have 4 things. 4 things we're going to do protection next, probably. Then we'll go with Divine Unholy Blessing for the Vestals. And then we will go with Fanaticism for the humans. And spells. And then these 2 guys are your slaves. And that is a mighty foe. What I think I'll do is play 3 or 4 turns and try and whack into a big army of... Play 3 or 4 turns off camera and see if I can just throw this thing at, like, that army there. And you can at least watch them in battle. And then I will be done for today. And done with this LP. There's one more thing that I remembered mentioning earlier that I'll show you. Now, you don't have thugs, yeah? Not a thug to your name. You could conceivably squander lots of death gems on low-value thugs, but you don't really need to. What you can do is, later on in the game, when you have buckets and buckets of these guys, right here, 1 Mound King, 80 little guys, and it can take out pretty much most lighter thugs if they do not have reinvigoration neutrality. So if they're getting tired, you'll tire them out with 80 guys. So Naked Vanjarls, dead. That sort of thing. And he takes 3 death gems, and that's basically it. So you do have an option in that regard. It's pretty good. So I said there are 2 uses for your kings. That's another use for your kings. That is your thug. And if you wanted to pimp him out, you could... I don't know. There's not much you could do. You could maybe give him a little rod of getting diseased and bringing more undead, but that's not really helpful. It's pretty much maybe just put in a second one, or slowly upgrade him into an army. Grab 3 of these guys, make it an event. Yeah. All right. So I'll stop now, and I'll come back and show you a battle against some monkeys, whichever monkeys I can lay my grubby paws on. See you in a minute. Yeah, you know what, guys? I'm not going to show you the army in battle because I was being a bit lazy trying to get to it, and I lost all my mages. So you'll just have... I'll leave that to the student, shall we say. And this is the end for me. I'm signing off. I'm getting attacked on all sides, of course, because I haven't done anything but move 1 army for like 4 turns. But I could still probably pull out of this. Alright. I hope you enjoyed it, and the moral of the story is dragons are really, really strong. So if you ever wonder why dragons are really, really strong, that's why dragons are really, really strong. See you around.